He seemed like he thought it went his way. But then I think he saw the comments on YouTube and on X, and then he started freaking out and replying to everybody. And I don't think it got the reaction that he thought it would. That was so shitty what he did with my father. He knows what he's doing. He says my dad, he doxed my dad too. He says my father's name and then says, oh, your dad's racist and this is his name. He knows that he's inciting political attacks on my dad and my family, and that wasn't right.
We've got a lot of different Twitter reactions going on here from the Piers Morgan and Nick Fuentes debate. First one posted here was Nick saying, great interview, Piers, with Piers looking a little bit shell-shocked, like a deer in the headlights, and Nick looking like the Joker villain. Piers says, thank you for coming on. I think we got to the real Nick Fuentes. Muhammad Hijab came out and says, I'm sorry, but Nick Fuentes struggled in his interview with Piers Morgan quite a lot. Underwhelming performance. Okay, Muhammad Hijab. Now, Republican against Trump says Nick Fuentes says women are very difficult to be around, shouldn't be allowed to vote, and should just stay home. The 27-year-old mustache man loving white nationalist also admitted to Piers Morgan that he's never had sex. This is funny. So this is a little bit of Nick hate going on Twitter. How's it going? 2.3 million views, 22,000 likes. Not amazing in terms of like ratio there. Piers Morgan, he had some serious tweets about this, which was really funny. Piers Morgan says, in a shock develop. So somebody tweeted saying Nick Fuentes says Piers Morgan thought he won the debate until he read the comments. So let's watch this video really quickly over here.
Actually, I don't.
Nick's take on the interview.
Actually, I don't know. It's funny because during the interview and afterward, he seemed like he thought it went his way. But then I think he saw the comments on YouTube and on X, and then he started freaking out on Twitter and replying to everybody. And I don't think it got the reaction that he thought it would. And that's very telling. It ain't 2015 anymore, buddy.
Yeah, you see, I kind of disagree with his take. I mean, I think it got the reaction from the people that Piers is appealing to that he thought it would get, which is the liberal establishment, the post-World War II liberal world order, who sits there and acts aghast at somebody saying that they're a racist. You know, that racism is like the original sin. You know, it's the worst thing that you can possibly be. I actually don't know, because Piers Morgan is obviously he's a guy who operates on drama and on drama mongering. So do I think that he's overly surprised about the reaction? I'm not sure. I think he's just leaning into it.
Different generation, and it's a different era. It's a new time. This is the year of the Groiper, year of the frog, pal. That's the thing. A lot of these boomers, not only is there a generational divide in how we speak to each other and how we talk about these issues.
Yeah, I mean, it is a different generation. They are coming through, but you have to still remember that Piers Morgan knows who butters his bread at the end of the day. And Piers Morgan's bread is not buttered by the Gen Zers or by the millennials. Piers Morgan's bread is buttered by the boomers. So that's one thing to remember.
But it's a different world. It's a different conversation. And the old playbook where they call you racist, they call you a misogynist, they call you an anti-Semite, and they expect that everybody is going to fall in line. It doesn't work like that anymore. It's 2025. This is a new chapter. And I'll talk about what I mean by that and why I think that is. But suffice to say, he came out of it feeling very confident. And then I think he was very surprised by some of the feedback. Well, it's a new world.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Nick on that. It is a new world, and all these tropes are not really working as much as they used to. We're seeing this play out before us in real time. And I'm kind of glad about that. I'm glad that the Overton window is shifting a little bit to the point where people aren't pearl clutching as much about the term racism, and people can lean into a little bit more and be a bit more edgy. And the sort of bubble that we've been in, this suffocating bubble of political correctness, is not really trendy anymore. I like that. Anyways, this person said, Nick Fuentes says Piers Morgan thought he won the debate until he read the comments. Piers Morgan responds to this clip saying, in a shock development, gazillions of little gropers have bombarded social media to declare their hero a winner for admitting he's a mustache man loving racist incel who hates women because he's never had sex. You need better heroes, gropers. Not the win that he thinks it is. Andrew Tate came out and said, Piers' tricks don't work on Nick because he realized the same thing that I did a long time ago. I double down on everything I say and I repeat it and I don't give a f. So playing things back just makes it hilarious. Nick is the same. You can never win against the brave. Piers Morgan responds saying, I never set out to win in any debates with people like you or Fuentes. I just hold you to proper account for the incendiary things that you say and let the audience judge accordingly. You're both proudly brazen misogynists. That's not brave. It's pathetic. I tell you what's pathetic, Piers. Being a simp. Being a white knight. That's really, really pathetic. This just gets better. Piers' reactions are hilarious. So this guy, Dries, said, you first attack Nick Fuentes by calling him a racist. You then see that it doesn't work at all. So you attack his father, knowing full well what real-life consequences such an attack can have. And worst of all, you think this is a win for you. What planet do you live on? Piers says, A, he called himself a racist. B, I didn't attack his father. I asked him about a story he told on his own show, which suggested his father was a racist with family restaurant choices. You did attack his father. You actually doxed his father. It's even worse because saying his name, like I didn't know what Nick Fuentes' dad's name was and I didn't care. But now millions and millions of people know what his dad's name is. And that is not okay because now he can be a target of doxing and he probably will be. C, I don't care about winning interviews. I care about informing the viewers. And D, Earth. Okay, Piers. This guy, John, says, Piers Morgan is a lying piece of shit. He said America's epidemic of mass shootings and school shootings is a white problem. Most school shooters, defined as any shooting within 1,000 feet of a school, are black or gang or drug related. Most mass shooters, defined as any shooting with 4 or more injured, killed, are black, gang, drug related. He's focusing on the handful of single-digit cases that grip the media's attention and support his narrative while ignoring the thousands of incidents that terrorize our children, students, citizens every day. And Piers says, I specifically said mass school shootings, most of which are committed by disturbed young white men. Well, actually, proportionally, that's not the case. And I'm doing a video about this today, which you guys will see. Fuentes updates here, says Nick 1. And shares an article where the Rolling Stone says the war over Nick Fuentes is over. He won. The Rolling Stone. The right tore itself apart over Tucker Carlson's interview with the white nationalist. Trump shrugged. Now he's everywhere. That's bad. Bad for them anyway. Another clip here. We've got Fuentes goes nuclear on Piers Morgan for exposing his father's full name in front of millions. Let's check this out.
He caught me off guard. That was so shitty what he did with my father. Because he knows what he's doing. He says my dad, he doxed my dad too. He says my father's name and then says, oh, your dad's racist and this is his name. That was low. And everyone knows what he was doing there. Everybody knows. And now you put a target on my dad. I hope you know that. So I hope you're happy with yourself. And that is out of line, actually. Family should be off limits. I'm in the arena. You want to call me a racist? I'm the one doing the show. My father's not a public figure. He's not political. So that's the only part that did bother me because that is bullshit. And I won't get mad. You can attack me all you want. I don't care. But, you know, my father, leave him out of it. He's a civilian.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair enough point. And the doxing was not necessary. But, you know, you have to understand that when Piers Morgan's going into these interviews, he wants controversy. And he wants to rattle the person. He wants to get a reaction out of the person. And that's what he was trying to do. Now, Nick was fairly composed about it, but you can see that Piers kept on prodding it and he brought it up whenever possible throughout the course of the interview as well.
And that was low. I mean, you should know better than that. You're on television. You've got 1 million plus followers on Twitter. You're a major celebrity. You're naming a random private person. And he knows that he's inciting political attacks on my dad and my family and my parents' fucking livelihood. My parents have cancer. They're fucking sick. And they're at retirement age. And they're working their fingers to the bone trying to retire, trying to fucking stay alive. And he got douchebag calling him racist. And he knows what he's doing, saying his name on the air. That wasn't right. And that's why I really don't like these people, because they're all rich and they don't know what it's like. You know, they have no idea what that's like. You know, my mom's trying to get benefits because the healthcare is so expensive. You don't know what that's like. Tucker, you're worth $50 million. Piers, you're worth $100 million. My parents don't have money. They work. They're 65 and they work. And they got to get on government health care, because when you have terminal cancer, it gets really expensive and we don't have money to pay for it. They don't have money to pay for that. They have to work for a living and they can't afford to be called racist. And so that's real. That's where the class thing becomes very real, because for them, it's just a big game. For Piers, it's a game. It's about, you know, I'm sure he's a spook of some variety. For Tucker, it's a big game. For us little people, it's not a game. You get canceled, that's your life. That's your health care. That's your retirement. That's your kids' college savings. They don't know what that's like. And so that's why it is a class thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's a fair point, and that's sad. I mean, I hope that Nick is doing well enough at this point that he can help his parents out with their treatment and everything. I didn't know they had cancer. That's really sad.